Now, there's a huge news story coming out of the States in the next couple of days, and nothing to do with politics. There is a massive hurricane which is making its way towards Florida. Now, Category 1, lowest level, Category 5, highest level. This is Category 5, okay? This is mega, this is hardcore, this is going to kill people, okay? A hurricane that was around last week has already killed about a couple of hundred people, and Florida is a place that's used to this stuff, but nothing as serious and as big as this. In fact, this is what the mayors are saying to people to make sure that they get out of Dodge.
Say without any dramatization whatsoever, if you choose to stay in one of those evacuation areas, you're going to die.
Now, to give you an idea of what is about to take place, the expectation is that the water levels that are going to end up being brought in from the sea, the storm surge, is not going to be 3 feet, it's not going to be 6, it's not going to be 9. It could end up 11 or maybe 15 feet. Now, we know that's big, but to actually see it before it happens is frightening.
At 3 feet above normally dry ground, water is already life-threatening. It's too late to evacuate. Water this high can knock you off your feet, make cars float, and driving impossible. The first floor of homes and businesses are flooded. Unfortunately, the water is expected to rise even higher at 6 feet above the height of most people. Vehicles get carried away, structures start to fail. Just look at this. Anything could be in this water, sharp glass, debris, chemicals as well. The scary part is some areas could see surge values at 10 to 15 feet. And this takes us up to 9. And look what it does. At this level, the first floors of structures are completely flooded, and there are few places that it is safe when the water rises this high.
Now, that's the American version of the Weather Channel. The Sky News Weather Channel will be covering this in full detail tomorrow, because about middle of the day tomorrow is when the expectation is that something is going to be taking place, which will be Wednesday in the United States, if not 24 hours later. But keep an eye on Channel 601, which, of course, is the Weather Channel. Now, speaking of the back and forth that is around all of this, Kamala Harris, who, of course, has played no role in the emergency services, because nobody says, get me the Vice President. You say, get me the President when there is a hurricane, is, of course, running for President and trying to pretend that somehow she has some role here. Now, people are very busy. You can see what the stakes are. So when she's trying to pick a fight with the Florida Governor, Ron DeSantis, I'm completely with the Florida Governor who's telling her to go jump. First, Harris trying to turn this into a blame the Republicans story.
You know, moments of crisis, if nothing else, should really be the moment that anyone who calls themselves a leader says they're going to put politics aside and put the people first. People are in desperate need of support right now, and playing political games with this moment in these crisis situations, these are the height of emergency situations, is just utterly irresponsible, and it is selfish, and it is about political gamesmanship instead of doing the job that you took an oath to do, which is to put the people first.
Now, I'll be honest, it's pretty low, right? Now, she does not have an actual role in all of this. The Vice President is there to be the tiebreaker in the Senate, to be the backup should the President die before our eyes, which I think we have seen when it comes to this President. But then he magically came back to life and apparently is still in charge. So she's just a distraction. She ends up ringing Ron DeSantis, and let's be honest, probably 2 rings and quickly hung up. So she could say that she reached out, but Ron DeSantis was busy, didn't answer. His response?
She has never called on any of the storms we've had since she's been vice president until apparently now. Why all of a sudden is she trying to parachute in and inject herself when she's never shown any interest in the past? We know it's because of politics. We know it's because of her campaign. I have zero time to entertain these political games. We're going to continue to do what we need to do to prepare and respond to what may be one of the most damaging storms in the history of the United States. So she says focusing on protecting your people is selfish. I think she ought to look in the mirror.
Middle stump. Like, honestly, she's not involved. She's ringing in order to have the fight, trying to turn a very red state into potentially a blue state because maybe some red voters won't be able to vote because literally their houses have been blown away. What a piece of work. Oh, and by the way, while she's trying to pretend, playing politics and we can't possibly play politics in this really difficult and important time, while Floridians are preparing for a storm that we understand is expected to kill people, did she cancel all of her events, head to the Situation Room? Did she go to Florida herself? No. She went on a TV show, one of many today, in New York City. She showed that this is what she's doing while other people are boarding up and leaving their houses. If a Republican did this, it'd be game over.
As for Miller High Life, you rather Miller High Life? I'm just curious.
Okay, the last time I had beer was at a baseball game with Doug. So,
cheers.
Okay, cheers.
There you go. Ooh. That tastes like the beautiful city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Champagne and beers.
There you go. So that covers Wisconsin.
Like, what a fake. Like, firstly, it reminds me of when I went to the baseball with my husband. Really? But more importantly, 24 hours ago, she's prancing around pretending that Ron DeSantis is putting politics above country. And when people are literally fleeing their homes because of what you've just seen about how high the water's going to be, take all their property with it, all their photos with it, all their memories with it, and all of the other things are going to be destroyed, she doesn't cancel the appearance with the TV host. No, she's got to do that. When the reality was, if she was actually feeding him about it, she'd say, I'll do that next week. In the meantime, I'll go to somewhere where I can maybe help somewhere. Which, in my view, is to just go away. But we have to wait about a month for that to happen, don't we?